of Supervisors and Board of Trustees on Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. Would you please, Barbara, will you lead us in the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you call the roll for quorum?
Trustee Braxton.
Here.
Trustee Ransom is absent today. Trustee Savage.
Here.
Trustee Township here. Supervisor Marshall.
Here.
We have a quorum.
As far as the agenda, there is one correction on the agenda, and that is Roman numeral 8, which is the second public comments. That was a typo word. It was put in twice, so I'd like a motion to remove that from the agenda.
So moved.
Any discussion? If not, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Braxton. Aye. Trustee Ransom. He's absent. Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Trustee Townsend. Aye. Supervisor Marshall.
Aye. I would like, looking over the agenda, I would like a motion.
No, I don't need more paper.
to
It's fine.
modify
Thank
the
you.
agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Trustee Townsend. Aye. Supervisor Marshall.
Aye. Next is approval of the minutes for the board meeting of April 8th, 2024. I entertain a motion to approve those minutes. Are there any additions, modifications, or anything on the minutes? Hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Trustee Townsend. Aye. Supervisor Marshall.
Next is public comments. Are there any people in the public that would like to make comments?
Carol Penny is first on the list.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Carol Penny. Attended the township meeting as recent as the annual meeting. The supervisor and administration continues to say unkind things about former Mayor Roger Clare, referring to him as an 800-pound gorilla. It's totally disrespectful. Roger Clare was instrumental with the development of the Levy Center. In his position as mayor, Roger Clare and the village board donated the land for the Levy Center. Back in the late 1980s, a businessman who owned several car dealerships named Joseph Levy Jr. came to the village of Bolingbrook and opened up a Subaru dealership. As a successful businessman, he liked giving back to his communities, which were Chicago, Evanston, and Bolingbrook. The Bolingbrook location actually was his favorite. He started several senior citizen centers, beginning with the first one in Evanston, and named the facilities after his parents, Joseph and Sarah Levy. He came to Roger Clare and said he would like to give $300,000 to start a senior center in Bolingbrook in honor of his parents. Sadly, Joseph Levy passed in 2019 at age 92. We owe all the Levy family for their investment in Bolingbrook and his love for senior citizens. I believe the water fountain on this property was named in Mayor Clare's honor for his involvement with Dupage Township and the Levy Center. No resident, I repeat, resident in the village of Bolingbrook, including Jimmy Bradley, wants the Levy Center to close. Sadly, the township uses this as a scare tactic in their political endeavors. I have one more comment. This paper. Lastly, please change your narrative as you are incorrect. The land that you purchased at Lily Cash Lane and Canterbury Lane is zoned B1, which I know you know. You repeatedly say the township can build a food which is emphatically untrue. The Township's proposed project of a food pantry and resource center is required to be approved by the Plan Commission and the Village Board for a special use permit. B1 does allow for a convenience store, but that's like the convenience stores, the little ones like at 53 and Briarcliff Road. B1 does not allow for a full-size grocery store and or food pantry. Please stop sharing incorrect information. It confuses township residents. Thank you.
Linda Ellis.
Good evening, Board, Mr. Marski. My comments today also reflect back to Carol Penning, how upset I was during the annual Dupage meeting, how people were elderly seniors who had invested much time and energy in developing what we have today were rudely addressed, and I was really upset about that. I felt as though a governmental board who is elected by the people and for the people should reflect that. And you certainly, in that position, did not. It's really hurtful to be shushed or demonetized in the sense that your comments are worthless and that you are being attacked by this board who is elected by the people that are sitting here tonight. I just feel like you feel as though you are on a higher plane, that you forget your duties as for we, the people who have elected you to these positions. You know, I am not against food pantry. I am not against helping anyone in need of help. But I do appreciate respect and tolerance of opinion, which is guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States of America. And we're entitled to feel how we feel, and you need to respect that, or at least, if you don't respect it, accept it and move on. I really wish this board acted more professional. Myself, as a newly ingratiated person into the political arena, I'm quite dissatisfied at the actions that I've seen here. I have invested in other areas of politics and trying to understand and learn as I go along. As being a newly retired person, I feel like I have gifts to give, and I love Bolingbrook. I've lived here 30 plus years. My family raised here. We've endeavored through Mayor Claire's visions, advancements, and also Mayor Mary, who is also lovely and quite an accomplished woman. But I do wish Dupage would understand we work here together as a community. Thank you for your time.
Catalina Rodriguez.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks again for having this forum open for the community to come and speak. I do echo. I think that there's definitely an importance that we all need to keep in mind when we come to meetings like this, is that we have to have a mutual respect for one another. I know that you guys are doing a great job working as civil servants, being here and being part of our voice reflective of things that are going to be good for the community. So I appreciate that. I also know that it's, it's one thing to definitely criticize people. We have a difference of opinion, but we never want to, go below the ballot or make anyone feel attacked on a personal level in a way that I don't think anybody else would want to be attacked or made to feel. So I think definitely goes both ways. We should have mutual respect for one another. And I think that's the only way Bolingbrook can move forward and do great things together, as we have been for many years. I'm also a resident and homeowner here in Bolingbrook. I'm raising my family here. I grew up not far away, but I always loved coming to Bolingbrook. I love the diversity of this city, and I always loved that there was always a feeling of inclusivity here. Everyone was welcome, and there was also a diversity of people who, maybe had a lot, or maybe some that might have had enough, and I feel like everybody was welcome here. And that was a beautiful thing about Bolingbrook that I've always really liked. I do think it's important to remember that our neighbors, or any one of us, I'm sorry, at any point in time could be very close to being in a place where we need support, whether that's, having access to food or having, more access to something like shelter or facilities or just support in general because maybe we lost our job or any one of us are one big accident or medical bill away from being in a really tough position. Right now in the economy with inflation, things aren't very easy for any of us, right? We're all working hard, but having such a savings in place that would be able to cover a huge expense is something not many of us can do. So I think we have to remember that any one of us could be in this position where we would be in need and would really want a place to be supportive of us, provide us needs, get us back on our feet, and so that we could pay that forward to our other neighbors that may in the future become in need. So I think it's something to remember. I know there might be logistical issues people have with the food pantry, but we really need to think about the bigger goal and try to get through these concerns in the most efficient way because right now the need is huge, and I think that we need to focus on the need and focus on the goal at hand and not put blocks up, but more so think of solutions so we can put something in place that's helpful to our community, to our neighbors that need it. Thank you.
Hannah Hernandez.
Hi, good evening. Thank you. My name is Hannah Hernandez. I'm a resident homeowner here, and I'm here tonight to once again voice my support for the building of the food pantry and resource center at the location that is proposed. I have been not shy in saying that I think the opposition to the food pantry is grounded in prejudice, and I recently got more information that confirmed that for me. I was able to see some correspondence between the police department and the township questioning the idea of a resource center and wraparound services, and what that would imply in terms of homeless people in the area, and that they quote that the department is concerned that individuals seeking additional services from the resource center may require mental and physical health assistance without the type of planning the department needs. I think these are, and another one was what we would do about children being in the area, a very gross implication that people in need of assistance who are unhoused or low income are for some reason dangerous to children. And as I've been talking more about this with other community members and fellow residents, I have only been hearing unequivocal support for the building of this food pantry. And I think what is happening here is that their voices are not being heard because they're not able to show up to these meetings. So I wanted to take a moment to voice some of those supporting messages I have heard. I was on Facebook recently and found actually a post from 2023, somebody asking about this project and they misunderstood it as being a homeless shelter. Someone asked, are they going to be building a homeless shelter and a food pantry? I'm sure as all of you were expecting people to be up in arms about that, but in fact it had 50 comments and the vast majority were support. And one resident said, is there currently a homeless shelter in Bolingbrook? I agree that one is needed. Another said, I hope so, that would be nice. And another said, a homeless shelter could be nice for the area, and I know we need a food pantry. And person clarified that it's not a homeless shelter, Township does not have the authority to build homeless shelters, but said, I wish Bolingbrook did because this area is a dead zone for services to the homeless. And again, this is just a reminder, of course, it's not a homeless shelter, but our community needs resources to help secure employment, secure housing, and I'm just very disappointed in the rhetoric that is grounded in prejudice. And I just think it's a learning moment for all of us, but we will continue to do what we need to get more voices here in support because I truly feel the majority of our community are not being heard in this matter. And that's what I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from the public? Hearing none, closing the public comment section. Supervisor's report. One thing I wanted to let the trustees know is that I've had discussions with the possibility of putting a referendum on the general election in November, basically a non-binding referendum, with the idea of basically saying should Bolingbrook allow Dupage Township to build a food pantry at the corner of Lily Ash and Canterbury. And I'd like to get input from the trustees on that as to whether they think that's a good idea or bad idea or not. I mean, we will have something like between 28 and 30,000 voters come out in Dupage Township at that election. And that would be the clearest indication of either support or, opposition to a food pantry in Bolingbrook. And so, in order to, we have the authority to put such a referendum on the ballot, and we would have to do it. We checked with the county clerk, and we have to do it by August. So, do you have any comments on that?
I'm going to ask her, referendum, are they only entered by individuals or can they be entered by entities like the township?
If you do it by individuals, they would have to get so many, signatures on the thing. The township board can put a referendum on the ballot to that effect without going to having signatures in it. But there have been so many comments about that people in Bolingbrook don't want a food pantry built there. This would basically indicate whether they were false, true, or whatever.
I think it would give people the ability to share their opinion on which way it should go. And maybe that will have some sway with the village when it comes to a support vote.
Yeah, because this would be, there's no other, you can't question the idea of getting a referendum done by 28, 30,000 people in the township versus a handful of very, very vocal people saying that they don't want it.
Yeah, this would open it up to everyone, so I think that makes good sense.
Here you have discussed it, and I do think that we should do that. And I do believe that the vast majority of people do support the food pantry and resource center, so this would just prove the support.
Okay. Well, what I will do then is I will have our attorney write up the question for it, and then we will submit it probably to next month's board meeting for approval. Okay. And the only one I'm missing input on is Terry. But that's basically the idea. On another point, we have been interviewing candidates for the communications director, and I think I have a candidate that I want to recommend to the board probably at the next meeting. And we will get resume and information, by the next meeting as to what candidates and everything. Also, Jackie has been interviewing, and I have also interviewed for the director of the Summer Bridge program. And we have one candidate, but I guess he is also looking at some other offers. So we will have to wait for that indication. With that, the supervisory report is done. Action items. Discussion and possible approval of a resolution on HB 5050. Jackie, could you go over quickly? Because I don't know what the latest, there's been so many changes to that bill.
Well, there have been a number of changes, and I do know that the person who put the bill forward has agreed to pull the bill. It will not be voted on before the end of May, when they close their session. That representative is now going to meet with Jerry Crabtree, the executive director of the Township Officials of Illinois, and they're going to have more discussions about the bill.
Would you please go over very quickly what the bill says?
The original bill said to design discussion, and it was decided that they would send the decennial reports to the county board, and the county board would review them, come up with cuts of 10 to 20% of local government, and then those recommendations would go to the state comptroller, who would then decide if they had merit and either lessen or not lessen. And this is not a constitutional duty of the state comptroller. So then I believe they removed at one point the language of comptroller, and then later on the third amendment, I think it was the third amendment, they removed the 10 to 20% requirement. So now it seems a little like the decennial bill. You're having a group do a big exercise, a lot of work, but no clear goal intended. These units of government that they want the county to look at are things like mosquito abatement districts, things like drainage districts, fire districts, a variety of different units of government, including highway departments and townships.
Also small school districts, and fire districts, and everything else.
Fire districts, yes. And I can just tell you from my experience on the county board, we don't have any expertise in those units of government. This would be a pretty onerous job. They wanted it done, like, I think in less than 18 months. It amazes me because we just took a vote on a road project that we've been voting on for 9 years straight, and it was finally about to get started with the actual breaking ground, because these projects are fairly complicated to get through all the engineering phases. And now, because we have new board members, now the board is saying, whoa, maybe we don't want to do this project. Now, we've already spent millions on this project and committed to doing this project.
Is that the 143rd Street?
Right. So I can see how we could end up having the same problems with this studying of the local units of government, because we have a new county board that will be elected in November and take office in December. And so we may be halfway through some of these decennial reports and have made decisions, and then I could see the new board members say, oh, I didn't get to weigh in on this. So these units of government were created by the state legislature. They were not created by county board members or county boards. Seems only appropriate that since the state created the decennial committee and the state created the units of government, that the state should take a look at them.
I also want to indicate, I also want to indicate that MTA and TOI have come out in opposition to this bill very vehemently. In respect to that, they sent out flash, messages on it asking people to be witnesses against it all over the state. So what I would like to see is that we could do a recommendation, a resolution against, in opposition to House Bill 5050. I would entertain a motion to oppose that bill and send it to our legislators.
Second.
If they come up with a bill that is acceptable to TOI and MTA and everything, I think we can look at this again when it comes up. But in the present form, I really would like to see us oppose it. Okay?
Jacob, did you say that the bill's been withdrawn?
It has been withdrawn, but they are going to have discussions with it over the summer. And what I have seen the legislature do is in the lame duck session, which will be in November, just October, November, December, I don't know exactly when they started, but it's after the elections, right? So I guess it would be after November 5th, or whatever election day is this year. They would then be able to bring this bill back to the full floor and take a vote on it.
Is it passed in the
the legislature pulled the bill. But it could rear its head in the Jenny Duck session and get passed.
It has been done many, many times.
Oh, yeah, I understand that. But if this bill actually passed, it would not carry any, I've seen the current version of the bill, and it had no mechanism described in there as how this process should be done. Does that, I mean, is that,
You actually don't know what it would do.
well, that's just it, and would there be, is it practical, or is it likely there would be a series of people who support this bill, would be making amendments to it, giving a mechanism, how do I handle it?
I can only say that the 3 amendments that were made by the writer of the bill, the person who introduced the bill. I don't know that there have been any other amendments made to it, and could there be some? Sure. And maybe that's what they're going to be discussing over the summer. You know, how to reword it or to make it, you know, something that people would support. But right
Or
now,
narrow it down to specific, categories of.
That's what I mean, there's no specificity in the version I saw. It just,
No.
the county board shall review the sending of reports submitted by these bodies.
Recommendations of reduction of the 20%.
I think that until they get more specifics, that, we should oppose it.
Yeah. So, anyone, if not,
If we had this resolution, we should probably say something there about the bill in its present form.
Correct.
Something like that.
okay, so we oppose HB 5050 in its present form.
Yeah, because whether the kind of amendments I was describing, if that happened or not, there would likely be other amendments as well. So it just, what we've seen in the present form has been rewritten a couple of times. And what we've seen is not good, not just for us, but for regular. So it's, but the body's responsible for.
I don't know if we need to actually add that, like, in its present form, because it would be dated, the 23rd day of April, so in that form, as of this date.
Okay, that's a language that make it clear that.
you can amend the resolution to say that.
I don't see the need to, just because it's dated, right? So like, at its current, in its current form, which we've seen, right, when I've seen it, as of this date, I don't see the point of it, I'll amend, but I don't see the point of it.
Yeah, we be specific to it, say as of this date.
I think the clearer we are, the better.
Right.
There's no question.
I mean, if you talk about, you can say that they could eliminate the park district, the library.
You're in there.
Yeah. It's not really clear exactly what they would eliminate.
Well, I think you have a motion.
If no more discussion, we already have a
I
motion.
have a first and a second.
Do we need to have another motion to amend this, to add the statement I was talking about?
What?
Is it the present form, is it,
Yeah.
whatever language we choose to use?
Have you got that down, Jack? Because you're gonna write up. No, listen.
I have it written down and I can certainly, adjust it to say that, we need a second in the event.
I would agree with that in a second.
Okay.
We need to take a vote on the amendment.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, we have we made a motion to modify the resolution, and we have a second. So first of all, we'll vote on the modification and then vote on the actual thing.
So would that modification come at the now, therefore be resolved that the Dupage Township Board hereby makes it known that they oppose HB 5050 in its current state? Is that where we go?
Yeah.
In its present form?
Right.
Sure.
Would you please call the roll on the...
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Trustee Townsend.
Aye.
Supervisor Marcy.
Now, we will be voting on the actual resolution. If there is any more discussion, hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Trustee Townsend.
Aye.
Supervisor Marshall.
Aye. Next on the agenda is the discussion and approval of budget ordinance 24-08. Do I hear a motion to approve the budget ordinance 24-08?
So moved.
Second.
First motion, second. Any discussion, comments, or anything? Hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Trustee Townsend.
Aye.
Supervisor Marshall.
Aye. Okay, next on the agenda is, we have two intergovernmental agreements with Wheatland Township. The first one is we actually handle their GA and EA services, and they actually pay for each time we handle a case for them, and any payment for it, they pay out. So this is Cindy, how much do we get? How much do we get each time? $50 per case?
Yeah, it's $50 per process application, whether they're approved or denied. Anytime there's a determination, it's $50, and then I believe it's also flat $50 for the food pantry as well.
Okay. And if there is any money given out, they pay out the money. It does not come out of the Dupage Township. We're just facilitating the help, giving them help because they do not have a GA or EA person in their township because the need in Wheatland Township is very, very minimal. So I would entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2412, which is the intergovernmental agreement with Wheatland Township, GA and EA, which is identical to what we had last year.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on it? Hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Trustee Townsend. Supervisor Marshall.
Next is, Wheatland Township does not have a food pantry. So, for a set fee a month, we allow anyone that they have in the need of the food pantry can use our food pantry down in Romeoville. And I think it's, how much is it a month that they pay us? I think it's $50 again. And the number of people who have used it are, probably is one, you can count on one hand, but it does offer them in case they do need help in their township and that they can use ours. So I would entertain a motion to, and this is the same resolution that we passed last year. I would entertain a motion to approve Resolution 24-13, intergovernmental agreement with Wheatland Township for the food pantry services.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any discussion on it?
It's ironic, we just had this discussion about this bill 50/50 about giving the county boards authority to review the efficiency of the local governments. This is a great example of efficiency to operate another local government body. And
We told them about it, and I know we've had some discussion, believe it or not, with Lockport Township for some intergovernmental agreements because they don't have, right now, they do not have anyone to handle GA. And the township supervisor, of course, is responsible for the GA. Any more discussion? We have a first and a second, so would you please call the roll?
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Trustee Townsend. Supervisor Marshall.
There is no executive session needed, so we are not going to executive session. And next item is the approval of township bills and claims. I assume that you have gone over the bills and claims. I wasn't sure because you Just to let you know that for the next few days, Jackie will be approving any bills or anything that are coming through because I'm going for shoulder surgery, so until I come back, she will be approving the bills and claims, and also approving GA and EA requests. And that will probably be until probably next Monday or Tuesday. Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve the bills and claims.
So moved.
Okay. Any more discussion? Hearing none, we call the roll.
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Trustee Townsend. Supervisor Markey.
Next is the administrative staff and contractors. We have no legal report, so we have the administrator next.
Oh, it's been a busy month. This is our third board meeting, plus committee meeting, so it's been super busy. 28 marriage licenses, 14 passports, 48 beam applications.
48 what?
48 beam applications, that's the discount on the license plate. And we had 8 people come through for RTA applications. That's something new we're doing in our office. If you hadn't noticed, the gazebo roof is done. It looks very pretty. I encourage you to get out there and take a look at it during the day. We started mowing this past week. We also spread mulch and edged all around the admin building because we hadn't done it in a few years. It looks really nice, in my opinion. Levy Center is next. They're going to get their mulch soon. We have contacted the architect. He sent out the engineering group to do what they call a topo, which is topographical survey, for lack of a better description, for the new parking lot that you guys talked about last month. That is the first step in going forward with applying for the building permit. We closed out the Northern Illinois Food Bank grant that we received last year. If you might recall, it was for $101,000. And our final check will be coming later this month, so it didn't show up on last year's budget. We can't get paperwork done that fast sometimes. But we'll be getting a check in a few weeks here for $20,000 to complete that grant. And as you may recall, we paid for the down payment on the refrigerated truck. The chassis is built. I think I got an answer about how much longer it'll be before the refrigerated box goes on it. But then we'll finish paying for that truck. We also applied for another grant with Northern Illinois Food Bank. $45,000 was requested for a combination of things: coolers, printed materials, some repair work that we did, and our online food pantry program continues to grow. We have a second school now involved, Independence, which is down the street here. We're working with their community liaison to help those families with getting food ordered online. We've begun your annual audit, met with the auditors last week, or the week before, and they'll be making their first on-site visit May 15th. We have spent over 4 weeks now working on volunteer software. We've been testing the software that's used in other food pantries. That software is almost ready to roll out. So volunteers would be able to actually click on a link, sign up to be a volunteer, and actually schedule themselves based on the jobs that we have available and the type of work and the schedule that we have available. So that'll be happening soon. Put together a preliminary order of school supplies for the Tools for School. Thank you for passing the budget tonight. Currently planning on about 650 student supplies, but as you know, sometimes we get more orders than that, so we may end up buying a few more items. We've been doing lots of interviews between Summer Bridge, the communications position, and for additional drivers. That's also kept us very busy this month with the budget, the end of year transfers, and 3 board meetings. It's been busy.
Thank you. Madam Director, I believe.
Well, we had another successful tax season for our seniors. AARP filed over 250 tax returns for our seniors to operate. Some of our recent activities, we visited McBride's, First Watch, Hero, Shoeless Joe's, and the Royal Buffet. We hosted in-house movies showing Cruella and 1958 I Want to Live. Both of those movies had over 90 seniors in attendance. Tomorrow we're heading over to Shuckman Shack Oyster Bar in Naperville. Thursday we're going to the Red Apple Restaurant in Downers Grove. Our partnership with Meals on Wheels continues to grow. We hosted a senior Easter egg for our building. Pretty hilarious. They move. We also hosted an opening day baseball party. May we're partnering with a Mother's Day tea party as well as celebrating older Americans. We just decided to do one day for everybody instead of restricting it to an age. We are old. Meals on Wheels continues to serve over 185 meals to our local seniors. We also rolled out a free Monday morning breakfast. So that seems to be, started out a little bit slow, but the last 2 weeks we've actually run it. So we continue to build on it and see where we can take that from.
You keep mentioning Meals on Wheels, and as you know, Meals on Wheels does not use that term anymore. They have a new name. What is the new name?
Community Nutrition Network.
Their band says Meals on Wheels.
I know, but they're too cheap to change the name of that. But I was corrected by the lady that handled it, because I think she got in trouble for using the term Meals on Wheels again. So we keep on using it, but we're not helping her by doing that, you know.
All right, so next month we're going to say Community Nutrition Network. We don't know what you're talking about.
No, it's funny that there are quite a few seniors coming, like right after exercise in the morning on Monday. Okay, they come for breakfast, and it's really, I think it's going to be growing to quite a large number as soon as it gets well known, and as soon as we can nail down exactly how many people are coming in and everything else like that. Okay, thank you. Next is general assistance.
You see the numbers from March 2024. It's been a slow month in terms of folks needing assistance, but usually around as the normal weather comes about, usually it will increase. Also, just as a reminder, like the accelerating funding still goes through the middle of August, or end of August, I can't remember off the top of my head, but so that's how we're going to play a part in it as well. But there have been a lot of things I've been doing in terms of attending events representing the township. Last month, at the beginning of this month, I attended an event hosted by the Will County MAP Collaborative, which is a collaboration of various organizations throughout the county in assessing the needs of residents and implement initiatives to address those needs through the health department and a number of organizations, and seeing how we could push it and promote a lot of other things. And so digesting a lot of the information I had about a bunch of flyers and stuff. So it was very good. I got to see some old coworkers that I had when I was at community concerns. So it was nice to see them more in a personal level. Earlier this month, I had the opportunity to speak at the Valley School District's quarterly partner meeting. They invited me to speak about what the township government is and how the township assists the needs of residents and how collaboration between the township and the school district helps school families. I received a lot of positive feedback regarding pantry and helping people understand the role township government has in the community. Last week, I attended the Illinois Township Association of General Assistance Caseworkers Annual Education Conference in Peoria. Some of the topics we covered were meetings, but just a lot of stuff that I know already explained that, you know, as long as someone who's newly arrived to our country and they can claim asylum or refugee status, they can receive general assistance services from that. We also had a sheet on a presentation on de-escalation techniques and resources available to veterans. Then lastly, which is probably the reason why you're wondering why my little report's a little thick, at the end of last month I participated in a virtual discussion from the local continuum of care. We've been addressing what the factors that contribute to homelessness in Will County. The head of the COC informed me that she was grateful to me in helping identify the issues, particularly in northern Will County, because a lot of the resources and a lot of the data seems to be focused in and around Joliet. And so when I questioned a lot of the data up this way, there actually wasn't a lot. And I'm actually the one that's really providing a lot of that. And I see that through the folks who are coming through our office. And which is the reason why I actually did the other 2 pages. One of them is kind of like a summary of the discussion from the COC, some of the factors that contribute to homelessness, and then some of the slides from the presentation. One of them explained what the COC is, if you're not familiar with it. Some of the current housing conditions in our region, the current continuum of care covers not only Will County, but Grundy and Kendall County. And then the last slide, again, I don't know all the slides, but the slide with the contact information for the COC executive director. So that's just more for your information as to the challenges there in terms of homelessness in the area. So yeah, we're seeing a lot more folks come to the office. So, and a lot of them honestly said that there's a lot more new faces out there. So you gotta work it out.
Any questions?
Yes, I have a question. Do you have a percentage?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Nothing on the board.
Yeah, and my question's along the same line. You asked about the homeless conversation.
Yeah.
Is that something that GA addresses?
So the manual does state that a person who is homeless actually can receive GA. And one of the misconceptions about a lot of folks who are unsheltered or homeless is that they don't have jobs. A lot of them do have jobs. If they do have jobs, they have income, which unfortunately would make them ineligible for general assistance. But anybody who literally has no income, no assets, they're literally sitting, sleeping on a park bench. Those are the folks that they could possibly qualify for general assistance if necessary.
I think like people who are underemployed, they hold a job that they can, because the data here showed that the average rent in this region is higher than the state average.
Yeah.
So if somebody is working, they get multiple jobs for that, but they don't have to meet the threshold to qualify for GA. But yet they can't afford the rent either. I don't know.
In the years that I've been in social services, I've always said that there's a really awkward in between where a household makes too much for a lot of mainstream benefits, but not enough to get by.
Yeah.
In our virtual conversation, I actually did bring up what Jackie had brought up, stating that Will County has one of the highest eviction rates in all the state. And
Has the highest one?
Eviction rates.
Or eviction?
So.
I have a question. Sure. In the region housing conditions, it says the region's average gross rent exceeds the state's average by $199 per month. What is the average for the state?
I think that's on another slide. I didn't include that, but I can give that answer to you. I just kind of was getting a synopsis for the board. I can certainly get the rest of the information to you.
Just something that you should all be aware of, if you didn't see it in the paper Sunday, the United States Supreme Court is taking up the issue of homelessness. There is a community in the state of Oregon, and there is a case being decided, I guess very narrowly. I have an article, I can forward it to you, it's in the paper today. Actually, I think it was in the Herald News today.
Well, what is the
housing, those who are homeless and using, and staying out in public spaces.
Yet not contributing to finding affordable housing or shelters for the people.
Or so, because the West Coast is,
How do they intend to make sure that they're not homeless?
That's a very good question.
that's the big question, the question.
But they said things like, there's been a debate over homelessness in states like California, which is home to 1/3 of the country's homeless population. Sleeping is a biological necessity, and people may be forced to do it outside if they can't get housing or there's no space in shelters. And that is a direct quote from Justice Sonia Sotomayor. So this is coming up. I mean, it's a big deal.
Yeah, but Sotomayor is, of course, on the liberal side.
Yeah.
So it would be, what are the conservative justices saying? I'm not sure what the contention is, who's suing who.
Well, what was happening in Grants Pass, Oregon, they were fining people $295 for sleeping outside as the cost of housing had escalated and tenants sprung up in the city's, I guess, public square. But yeah, this is the most significant case before the High Court in decades on this issue, and as record numbers of people are without a permanent place to live in the United States.
So they're finding people homeless.
They were finding the homeless in Grants Pass, Oregon, and so somebody took
If they can't afford housing, how are they going to afford the fines?
You're absolutely correct, and it's in front of the Supreme Court now.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Elected officials report. Mr. Assessor.
Good evening. Property owners will renew notices for their exemptions, so we're in full swing getting those exemptions renewed, especially with the seniors. As I reported last month, there's an exemption event that's going to be hosted by the Will County Supervisor Assessment. It's going to be here at the Levy Center on May 13th, 2024, between 11:30 a.m. and 3 p.m. April 7th through April 9th, the Illinois Property Assessment Institute held their 66th annual conference in Bloomington, Illinois. This is the largest annual gathering of assessment professionals in Illinois. It features education and training, industry vendors, special events, awards, and so much more. We had 3 employees attend that event. It was very educational, long and attended.
I have a question. The May 15th event here, I know that the Will County Assessor Department is going to be here. Exactly what are they going to be doing?
Same thing we do every day.
What's that?
Same thing we do every day. They have events hosted throughout the county. For some reason, someone cannot make it to our office. I encourage all residents to come to our office and go to the event. But they do the same thing. They go notices and they get ready for the July 1st.
Now this is not just for seniors, is it?
No. My website, township.com, we have a list of 11 exemptions. So if you come to our office, if you go to the county this particular day, you can come here and as I stated, they have various exemptions back throughout the county. So.
Any question? No. Madam Clerk?
Well, I want to thank everyone that came out for the annual meeting, and especially thank everyone who helped set it up and get it ready. Thank you. The Bolingbrook High School drill team had a fabulous year this year. They took home a total of 54 trophies, so we got to give congratulations to them. And then I'm going to brag on my little great-granddaughter who took second place in the Arbor Day coloring contest, and she's going to help plant a tree on Saturday at Bulldog Park at 10 a.m. And I want to wish Gary the very best for his upcoming surgery.
What was the contest, the Arbor Day?
They had
a coloring page contest, so they had 4 different age groups, and she's in the youngest group, and she took second place in the coloring contest. I don't know. They had 4 places, so she got second. I don't know how many they did away with, but I used to get a lot when I read.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Gary's gonna have shoulder surgery, which is no fun for anybody, so good luck with that. Good luck. I mean, it's not your pitching arm, but it's a good thing. So, yeah.
No, I didn't like pitching on it.
So they'll be in the physical therapist's office here for 2 weeks probably. Also, several of us were at the Township officials of Illinois day down in Springfield, meeting with legislators. And this question about House Bill 5050 we discussed earlier came up. It was a big topic of discussion, honestly, for all the things we discussed earlier. But yeah, it's productive. It's good, and it's clear that the Township officials of Illinois is a strong organization that speaks on behalf of township interests across the state. Again, we were reminded that townships take all kinds of forms. In rural areas, obviously, township is it. There is no other government there. There's no other community, no municipality. Townships take care of everything. In this kind of location, there's a municipal township organization too. There are townships across the northern part of the state that's more heavily populated as ours. But again, each individual unit of government has its own set of rules that are set by state statute. And so things like House Bill 5050, we discussed with our legislators and try to understand, make them understand what effects this could have. Is that the correct answer? So that was a good number. Gazebo is good for another 10,000 miles. I got, we wrote on that because it was signed. And yes, and the Community Nutrition Network has their lunches on Thursday. It's a great thing. I mean, my wife and I have been able to attend many of those. And it's great food. And it serves a great purpose, raising awareness of the former Meals on Wheels program. It's all a good thing.
What's it called?
The community, the former Meals on Wheels. And now it's the Community Nutrition Network. That's all I got.
Thanks, Debbie?
Well, I want to tell Ms. Levy, director, that I love the idea of those senior breakfasts. So I hope that really takes off, and I hope more seniors will take advantage of that, because that's great. Your exercise and then get your protein and such, so that's wonderful. I also want to mention the young lady who spoke about mutual respect and such. As a college director of nursing, our young people have some interesting behavior, shall we say. So I would also like to agree on the fact that mutual respect listening, discussion that's respectful, and all sides stopping all kinds of incivility, and that's a little bit different than bullying, but incivility behavior in general would be outstanding on all sides, everywhere in this country. And then, Gary, wishing you a very safe surgery and a super speedy recovery.
Thank you. Ms. Townsend.
Good evening. I don't mind this. So I just want to remind everybody that on Monday the 29th, we have our youth committee meeting at 6 p.m. Looking forward to continuing to grow that committee with the new members and more ideas. Also attended Lobby Day with Tom, where we discussed House Bill 5050. We also used the opportunity to encourage a couple mayors to pass these fire resolutions on the board. And I just want to say that I think that mutual respect is, of course, yes, ideal, but it can't be just I'm an older person and so you have to respect me. The older person also needs to be mature, and I'm in awe at the youth, especially like these college students right now, and like being up and doing the right thing.
Thank you. One thing that Linda forgot to talk about, and that was the the bingo by the Friends of the Levy Center last Thursday, okay, where this place was packed with people shouting bingo. Now, they said there was 265, and I don't know, I thought it was a lot more, especially with their, but it was a huge success. And in fact, I think they had to really turn people away because they had so many people wanting to play bingo. Yeah, so you forgot to mention that. And I'm going to tell Kathy that you didn't mention it. You'll be in trouble for that. If there is no more, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, will you please call the roll?
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Trustee Townsend.
Aye.
Supervisor Marshall.
Aye, we are adjourned.